live stream my Monday Night Raw review. This is Jacob Cast 2024 playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 or Black Ops 7. I'm going to play the multiplayer. While I do that, we're going to talk about WWE Monday Night Raw, the Fallout show from SummerSlam last night. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comment section below if y'all want to see more. This will be an hour and 20 minutes on my live stream. My video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by JD from New York, Salamanca Sound Off, Fightful Pro Wrestling. I want to give a shout out to my cousins and some other YouTubers that I know of, like Chris Move and Typical Gamer, the Web Brad. Yeah, so we are gonna talk about this. Now, I'm not gonna be doing the NBA 2K. Well, actually, maybe I'll play 2K next time, but I want to play Call of Duty, and I'm going to be doing it for a while. So I will be, while I do these live streams and talk about Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, which will be on Friday, I'm going to be playing Call of Duty. I will do the campaign. First, I'm going to play the multiplayer. So, well, while I talk about that, I want to show y'all what happened on Monday Night Raw tonight. A lot to talk about on this show. A lot of cliffhangers and new storyline development. LA Knight had must-see confrontation with Roman Reigns. That opened the show. That was a pretty good opener. They changed words. So we could be teasing this match for Saturday main event. I just want you guys to know there's no pay-per-view after SummerSlam. There's no pay-per-view in August. There's no pay-per-view in September besides the Triple Mania show and Saturday main event. Those two in September. The next big pay-per-view is in October. Money in the Bank on October 10 in New Orleans. That's the next big pay-per-view, so we got 2 months until we get to Money in the Bank. Now, what is Wayne going to do on TV? He might defend it maybe on Raw, or he could defend it at Saturday main event, because it's next month and at the start of September. So the show opened up with Roman Reigns and LA Knight. They're teasing that match. Knight wants a rematch. Because who else is he going to face? Open Femi is not. After winning King of the Ring and beating Brock Lesnar and that feud, Wade, Jacob Fatu, and the Usos. That was a pretty good segment. They're building up Jacob Fatu as a dominant figure again. I actually didn't see this earlier. Live Valkyria has a message for Raquel Rodriguez. She could be chasing the women's IC title from probably going to Raquel. Now, we did get the big return from Big Cass. Big Cass, we all knew was going to show up. He made a big return. He took out Javon Evans. Javon Evans came out, great reaction. He had a decent match with Ethan Page. He beat Ethan Page. And after he won, Big Cass came out and beat him up. After 8 years of being away from WWE, he back. There was no Enzo. Enzo was not in sight. I'm sure they're going to build it up pretty soon. We could see that in a couple of weeks, maybe next month. I think we will get Enzo back in the company, but we got Big Cass. He being built up as a dominant figure. So Javon Evans takes down Ethan Page. Big Cass made big return, takes out Javon Evans. We'll probably get that match next week. Now we did get the Judgment Day celebrate their gold. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, they're your single champion. While Sam was there, Judgment Day beat down Saruka. We actually got Roxanne Perez and Saruka, the map or whatever. But in a DQ, because Liv Morgan and Raquel got involved, and then Judgment Day beat them down. And then as they beat down Saruka, we got the return of Becky Lynch. She back after 2 months. And then we got the return of Stephanie Valkyrie. She's been out since WrestleMania. 4 months since WrestleMania, I believe. So she's now back. And we had a brief stare down with Becky and Stephanie. Now it looked like they may be going after the Liv Morgan title. At least Liv Morgan has some challengers. Even though she's already faced Stephanie, she's already faced Becky. So Liv Morgan, finally she has some challengers. But we don't have a pay-per-view. We got Saturday main event next month. And then 2 months later, we got Money in the Bank. Unless they do her title on Raw. Hopefully she defends the title. After that, we had a backstage segment with Obafemi and Paul Heyman. Obafemi tells Paul Heyman to thank Brock Lesnar for endorsing him, raising his hand. They also showed a vignette of Brock Lesnar's career, retro perspective. Very good career of Brock Lesnar when he was champion and ended the streak. He'd won in UFC. It did Brock Lesnar's last match. I highly believe that. I'm sure he'll be back for Saudi Arabia. He could be back for next year's WrestleMania. But if this is it, what a career. He put over Femi, let it be the end of it. Now, Obafemi, he's not going after the World Heavyweight Champion. He's not going after Chad Gable's IC title. Why should he? Obafemi had a stare down with Braun Breaker, so they're going to feud. Braun Breaker still in the tag team with Austin Theory. I don't think we saw Logan Paul tonight. He still got that cast on his arm. But Braun Breaker and Obafemi, they had a stare down. They're probably going to feud because Obafemi is someone to feud with. Have it be Braun Breaker. At least feud until we get Bronson Reed. I heard he's supposed to come back in August. Maybe I think we will get this match. And we could get Bronson Reed show up and Bronson Reed and Obafemi is a feud I'd like to see. It's at least stall time until we get to Money in the Bank and hopefully Obafemi finally challenges Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's what I think is going to happen. So we're going to get Obafemi and Bronson Reed feuding for a bit. They'll have a match. Hopefully Bronson Reed comes back. I'm sorry. Yeah, he'll have a match with Braun Breaker, and hopefully Bronson Reed comes back and he'll get a match with Obafemi. And then hopefully Obafemi challenges Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think it had to be Money in the Bank. I think it just makes sense. Now, Braun Breaker did destroy Joe Hendry. He beat him up. He beat down Joe Hendry. And then the Austin Theory came out and beat up Joe Hendry. Then the Alpha Academy, I think Tozawa and Odie came out. We also had a tag team match with Chad Gable and Penta defeat Dominic and JD McDonough in a pretty good tag team match. Chad Gable came out there. He celebrated. He won his first single champion. Penta came out and congratulated him. They were interrupted by the Judgment Day, Dominic, and JD McFist, the two losers here. And then we got a tag team match. Decent tag team match. The babyface went over here. We'll see where did Gable go, who he feud with for the IC title, who's going to find the title again. Now where did Penta go? What did Dominic and JD doing? Are they going to go after the IC title? They just lost him, but we'll have to wait and see. We also had a backstage segment with Braun Breaker confront Paul Heyman. Is Paul Heyman going to be back with the Vision? Is he going to be back with Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker asked Paul Heyman, where's Obafemi? I thought you would know. I thought you were your new best friend. After what Oba said to Paul, we just don't know. Can we get Braun Breaker out of this tag team with Austin Theory and out of the Vision and be with Paul Heyman or something? Build up Braun Breaker to win Money in the Bank. That would need to happen. Now, the main event was Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys in a street fight. Very good match. Jacob Fatu got the win. He dominated. He beat up Royce Keys. After the match was over, he hit him with the chair. And then we saw Roman Reigns came out, did the one with Fatu, to build up Fatu back as a dominant figure. Alright. So, alright, now let's go into some of the podcasters here.
Well, what do you know? We're on Discord.
We got Joe Cronin.
Best.
Google Career Certificates can help.
Eric, bad guy robe. I think Obafemi just had traditional attire from his home country. So they're not that similar, although with the white, I can kind of see the similarity there. Mordecai was kind of like a druid, I guess. I'm not sure what the hell his gimmick was, to be honest.
Raw tonight, but I flipped through Twitter and saw that. So
get there. As of right now, we're off the back of a great SummerSlam and a great Raw.
Huh?
It was a great opening segment.
Why is it so slow, damn it?
Just paying a little tribute to OTS Tribal Queen because she was a lifelong wrestling fan, really supported what we did, loved.
And knows for a fact within him that he could either crush CM Punk beneath his boot heel. That man has so much osteoporosis. Just his
A night overturned, man. Okay, so
reason why.
Homies. I blew bed 9 out of 10.
Nope.
Be nice. This is weird.
I'm just giving you parasocial love.
Isn't it sad that I was getting a compliment and I was thinking to myself, nope, this is going somewhere. Where is it going? We're jaded. I'm jaded.
Oh, jaded. Oh, Jade Cargill.
Okay, well, let's get to it. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Denise Salcedo, and I am joined by my 3 nights in a row now tag team partner, Sancho West. Sancho, how are you?
I am doing great. The stocks are up for LA Knights. His music hit. He cut a promo against Roman Reigns, the OTC. Come on, Denise. He said, you suck. It was great.
Sancho. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. Today of all the days is the day that Sancho is able to have his moment, his flowers. You are the bride today, Sancho. This is your day because your boy, LA Knight, is now in a filler feud with Roman Reigns. And here's the thing. I am ready to give you the floor to share your delusional thoughts on what went down between Roman Reigns and LA Knight. And after you're done glazing, I'm going to give you a nice little reality check. Sancho, what did you think about your boy, LA Knight, finally confronting Roman Reigns face to face?
What can I say? You know, everybody was saying, Oba this, Oba that. Oba needs to go after Roman. This needs to happen. But the megastar, the one that says this universe's uncrowned champion rises to the test and calls the OTC, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns, a fraud right to his face. And then, you know, guess what Roman does? He watch mugs him. You know what? Watch maxing. Shows off his $575,000 watch and goes, you get your watch from Walmart. And they're like, wait a minute, whoa, slow down, tribal chief. There's nothing wrong with Walmart. You got nothing wrong with Walmart watch, a Walmart bag. And then the best part about it is Roman Reigns then tells the rest of the bloodline, don't touch him. It is his business. LA Knight's off limits. And then guess who rubs his face in the bloodline's face before he leaves? LA Knight. Say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the most non-enthusiastic yeah ever. All right, Sancho, are you done glazing? Can I give the cold hard facts now? Okay, well, here's the deal. This is my thoughts on what went down. So I shouldn't say facts. I should say rather opinion. All right, I'm going to start with the pros. Can I start here with the pros? Sancho, this is actually a good thing. I'm going to start off with the pros here. The pros being that, you know what? Congratulations to LA Knight. He is in a feud right now with Roman Reigns. Yes, this is a filler feud, though, Sancho. I don't want you to be out here thinking this is a big wedding day or quinceañera. No, this is not that big of a level, okay? This is a filler feud because they're going to be saving Oba and Roman down the line for the big money show, which is WrestleMania or whenever they decide to finally do that, okay? Now, 1 million people would give their left nut to be in a feud with Roman Reigns right now, because at the end of the day, Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns on the show, and obviously if you are in the ring, in a segment, in a match, or really much in any of the vicinity of Roman Reigns, you raise up your own stock value because of that. So congratulations to LA Knight on getting that moment. Now I gotta go with my actual thoughts on the segment. When LA Knight came out, I thought to myself, okay, that should have definitely been Obafemi, but whatever, I get it. And then I thought about you.
Yes, you thought about me.
I did think about you. And you know what I thought about you? You know how I imagine your reaction, and I made a joke about this during the live stream? Do you remember the Vince, because it's everywhere, everyone knows this one, when Vince McMahon was watching Stacy Keibler dance, and and he passes out on his chair? That was the vision that I had of you when LA Knight came out. So, anyways, I thought about you. So, yay, congratulations. But what I do want to get into the actual promo, though, because when LA Knight started talking his shit and started saying how Roman Reigns, yay, he finally won this match on his own, congratulations, I kind of felt, ooh, he's belittling Roman Reigns right now. And by belittling Roman Reigns, you know that Roman Reigns is going to come back and he's going to fire really, really hard. And I started to get really nervous for LA Knight because I thought, oh my God, Roman Reigns is about to roast him. And now, Sancho, I know you defended Walmart. Hell, I shop at Walmart too. But at the end of the day, they are WWE superstars. They are in a different tax bracket than we are. And Roman Reigns is in a totally different tax bracket. And so he made fun of LA Knight for having a, sad little Walmart watch. And I thought it was pretty funny. And then I thought, oh man, that's pretty embarrassing for LA Knight, right? And so whatever, he did his thing. LA Knight's promo. This is where I had an issue with this. I did not like LA Knight's promo. I didn't think the parts that were supposed to be funny were funny. I didn't think that he fired any shots back at Roman Reigns that hit as hard as Roman Reigns, making fun of his watch and basically telling him to get back in line. I don't think he had that. And on top of that, he came across as a little delusional when he said that he was on a different level, on a higher level than Roman Reigns. I thought to myself, buddy, come on now, what are we doing here? Don't do that. Like, I like when promos are smart, and I didn't think the writing of that promo and the comeback was as strong as it needed to be in this particular moment.
Yankee, Oscar, Uniform, Sierra, Uniform, Charlie, Kilo. You suck, Denise.
Oh my God. How will I ever bounce back from that? My career is over.
October 10th, Denise. October 10th.
October 10th, what? He's probably not even going to be in the Money in the Bank match, Sancho. They're probably going to do this match at Saturday night's main event.
October 10th, Your Honor.
October 10th, nothing is happening. It's not happening. It's not happening, Sancho. Let it go. It's not happening. All right? You know what's going to happen? Roman Reigns is going to go out there, squash your boy, call it a fucking day, and move on. All right? And LA Knight's going to be like, yeah, I got my feud with Roman Reigns. Woo, woo. Okay? October 10th, you and I are going to come out here, talk about Money in the Bank, and we're going to talk about some other person winning the Money in the Bank.
By the way, what a banger Monday Night Raw for
okay, for real. Yes. Okay, well, I can't believe we started off with that, but hey, whatever.
That was the biggest news of the show.
That wasn't even the top segment of the night. It wasn't even top. It was maybe like 3, 4. Not even top 3. Not even top 3. All right, so let's get to it because we do got a couple of things. I actually want to get to Obafemi because we just touched on Obafemi right now, and we had said, oh, Obafemi's got to come out here. He's got to bring up Roman Reigns, and we got to see what happens, right? Yes. He didn't really talk that much about Roman. He kind of ran through what he did with Brock Lesnar and how they respect each other. But the funniest thing that we had going here was that Obafemi, because he was wearing, the white, looking like he was going to, like, his catechism or something, or his baptism, whatever, or, like, the new beginnings, really like the robe, really cool, made him look godly. But it was really funny, though, because when he was cutting the promo, I started imagining him like he was cutting some sort of sermon, like I was at church, and so it kind of made it very funny to me, and before I knew it, I had forgotten that I was waiting for him to mention Roman Reigns, because I got caught up in the comedy of it all. But whatever, when he finished that promo, I thought, ooh, so what now? Who's going to come out and face Obafemi? And then suddenly, Braun Breaker's music hits, and I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you so much. Our prayers have been answered. Get Braun Breaker the fuck out of the Vision. Get him out of that tag team stuff. Get him out. Has a confrontation with Obafemi. I was locked in, Sancho. Locked in. I'm so excited. I don't know when they're going to do it. I don't know if this is going to be a tease that we don't see get paid off until a year from now. I don't know. But the fact that we even saw it today gave my little heart hope.
Well, I think what I liked about this Raw is that there was every kind of action had a consequence. Like something kind of domino went to another domino and just kept going and going. So you had Obafemi shake hands with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman have that respect between each other. And Oba says, tell Brock I said thank you. And then after Oba's promo, you had that stare down like you mentioned, but then Braun Breaker couldn't take his eyes off the ramp, and as if he was just looking at Oba through the gorilla all the way to the locker room, had x-ray vision. And then poor Joe Hendry was just fodder in that moment. But the whole time I was like, dude, this is kind of cool to show that Braun Breaker is kind of waking up from his comatose that he's been in this whole time with the Vision, like that he looks bored. And I've been telling people there's a reason why he's kind of having this bored demeanor, because of this. He realizes it's Oba that he needs. And I love that he went to Paul Heyman. He was like, where's Oba? And Paul's like, I don't know. And then, of course, you don't know where Oba is. You two are friends. I'm like, ooh, this is exciting. Now, the question I have for you, Denise, is the idea, and I don't think not that many people saw this coming, but if he is the next Brock Lesnar, if he's the next Beast Incarnate, wouldn't you want, if you're Heyman, to side with Obafemi?
If I'm Paul Heyman, yes, absolutely yes. Do I want Paul Heyman to link up with Oba? Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, we all know that Paul Heyman is the person that you should never trust. This man betrays everybody, Sancho. Everybody. I mean, how many men hasn't he stood by within the last calendar year? Think about that. Like the last 24 months, we've at least seen him bounce from dude to dude. It sounds kind of dirty, but hey. Monday Night Raw, what up? Anyways, so I can't bounce back, Sancho.
Well, I was going to say, Jack Swagger was a Heyman guy. Why not let Oba be a Heyman guy?
Yeah, the torch was passed. All of that. Let's not forget, by the way, Paul Heyman talked a lot of shit on Obafemi, though, but I guess that's all buried. Whatever. They buried the hatchet. All good. Whatever. But I do also kind of feel bad for Braun Breaker, because Braun Breaker was linked up with Paul Heyman first, and he just ditched him when things started to go downhill. And if you ask me, he kind of left him with the Vision without even adding anything to, he didn't protect him. He didn't keep him safe. No, he just said, you stink with Logan Paul and Austin Theory, so suck it, I'm out. And my, precious baby is back in Brock Lesnar, so I'm leaving with this guy and leaving you to fend for yourself. If I'm Braun Breaker, I would never want to link up with Paul Heyman ever again after that.
It's the Woody and Buzz. Who's Woody in this case? Braun Breaker. Who's Buzz Lightyear? Obafemi.
Even Buzz Lightyear was loved by Andy so much more than Paul has given to Braun Breaker.
Yeah, but you're talking about Andy is Paul Heyman in this situation.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And then he dumped Woody, Braun Breaker, and then he loves Oba now.
Yeah, but he doesn't even love. He never treat. But here's the thing: Andy loved Woody. I don't think Paul ever really showed that kind of love to Braun Breaker.
Yes,
it was mid-love. It was mid-love. It wasn't the kind of love that he gave to Brock Lesnar. Like, Brock Lesnar is his Woody.
Are you saying that Braun Breaker doesn't have the word Paul on the bottom of his boots?
No. I don't think so.
Disney.
Hey, pretty soon that's how our podcasts are going to go. If we ever see Disney take over WWE once TKO's like, We need to get out of debt. Let's out to Disney.
Well, it looks like I'm first in line because I was on Netflix. That's right. Oh, look, pal, Mickey Mouse. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
no, it's not gosh, it's gorsh.
Oh my god.
No, gorsh.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a villain in this scenario. Okay?
Oh, dang. You seem like more of a Ursula type.
Yes, you poor, unfortunate soul.
See, don't act like you don't know Disney. You would be in Disneyland. Disneyland's the shit.
Anyways, I was just at Disneyland like 2 weeks ago. Anyways, I'm excited for Braun Breaker and Obafemi as the potential here. Who's going to become the Paul Heyman guy? That's going to be something to keep an eye out on. So your official pick, by the way, if Paul is going to devote himself to one man for a good amount of time, who should that one man be? Who should he give his rose to?
I think he's going to... Ooh, Bachelor reference. I think he's going to start courting Obafemi.
I love how you said courting. Yeah, he is. He's gonna be like, "Oh, Oba, you look so beautiful in that white fit that you had the other day, and your big necklace." Ooh, I don't know.
Well, because I feel like what Obafemi's character needs is diverse type of feuds. Not everything can be Superman. I'm gonna just punch harder against the big bad. He needs to have things where his moral judgment is challenged. And that's what makes Lex Luthor so interesting versus Superman. Lex Luthor cannot beat Superman with his muscles. He uses his brain. And if Paul Heyman could be the adversary to Obafemi and coerce him and then slowly manipulate him and have everybody go, no, Oba, don't fall for this guy. And I think it's something that's quite interesting to watch versus like, I am the ruler. I'm going to conquer. I'm going to be the next mountain for Roman. I like the idea of somebody slowing him down and weighing him down, and that's Paul Heyman.
But who do you think needs him more when it comes to the mic?
None of them. I don't think. I mean, I think Braun Breaker does fine on the microphone, but I think Oba needs some little. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm just not necessarily like he is a very deep character, but I would like to explore this layer of. Can he be challenged mentally and emotionally? And I think Paul Heyman could bring that out of Oba than anybody else right now.
And I want Braun to have the chip on his shoulder of, hey man, you left when the times got tough and you didn't believe in me. Well, you know what? You're gonna regret that.
Yeah, and then bring out his uncle. Hell yeah.
Let's go. Bring it on.
Big Papa Pump.
All right, we got Nightwolf here in the building who says, hey, Sancho, you should be upset by this. Not happy LA versus Roman Knight means three things. One, LA Knight is not winning the Money in the Bank. I told you. Two, Roman beats LA Knight. I told you. And three, it's for LA no more opportunities.
Wow. That's what I hear. Look at my...
What do you think he's going to defeat Roman Reigns, Sancho?
Look at my eyes. He could beat Roman at Money in the Bank and then get cashed in on, and I wouldn't care. He would be at least a champion.
Hey,
I don't care
I'm
if it's
sorry.
for 5 minutes.
Say that again. You think he's going to defeat Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I don't care if it's clean. I don't care if like the ceiling falls on Roman and LA Knight pins him. He's going to be a champion, and then he's going to get cashed in on, and I would be fine with that. And that would be like, yes. At least he was a champion for 5 minutes, and it would be like Drew McIntyre all over again.
All right, Sancho. Tuesday,
this is
4 o'clock. We need an intervention for you.
No, this is what you signed up for. Sorry.
Thank you, Nightwolf. All right, we got Casey Bull here. It says, LA Knight interrupts Roman. Sancho gets shown on TV. Only one answer. Club WWE brought out the Glaze Factory. Matt Pat is looking down at
He's
us.
not dead.
Rest in peace.
Matt Pat's not dead.
So, you sold your soul? What'd you do, man? You sold your soul to The Rock? What happened?
Look, there's only one way up, and that is through the gates of Disney. You know what I mean?
Whoa.
That's the only way up.
There is another way to go up. BlueChew.com, promo code Denise, and you'll be up all the way. Thank you, Casey Poole. We got Jacob Tatum here who says, did you like how WWE reintroduced Big Cass by having him attacking Javon Evans? And thoughts on his short promo plus the Obafemi promo left me confused. Let's talk about Big Cass. We all knew he was coming out today. We had seen the vignettes where he talked about his personal life struggles, but I think a lot of us thought he was going to come back as a babyface. Javon Evans defeats Ethan Page. We're like, yay, hoorah. And then this poor guy gets taken out, eats a big-ass boot by Big Cass, who lays the man out, and then Big Cass cuts this awesome promo, basically saying, sorry, Javon, but I'm here to stack them bodies, and you were just the first casualty. I loved him coming in as a heel. I thought that was a surprise. Him attacking Javon was kind of the right guy because a lot of people love Javon, and I think everybody has a soft spot for him. And then 3, the promo. That man did not blink. His eyes were like this the whole time.
He had some bass into him, too, and he meant every word. And I liked it. I feel like, one, Big Bill, but Big Cass is bigger than Big Bill. Like, I thought Big Bill was big. But Big Cass is big. Like, good Lord, he got some, it's insane the amount of muscle he got on him. But I was feeling the Kevin Nash vibes from him tonight. And I know he's always had that comparison with Big Sexy a lot, especially when he was with Enzo and Big Daddy Cool. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, but he just feels so intimidating. And Javon just looks so helpless being in that, what do they call it, the East River Crossing. Like, that was so crazy to be manhandled like that. And Big Cass, I like that they gave him a microphone at the end of the night just to kind of bring it all together and let us see what he can do. And you can always still look at the crossover with SmackDown, because SmackDown has Baron Corbin working with Trick to try to help him out. And if they have a thing with Big Cass and Javon for a little bit, I think it's great. I don't know what's the end goal for Big Cass, but if he could just be a body that is exciting to watch, like, I'm in. Like, I will sit down and watch a Big Cass match.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up the Baron Corbin stuff, because I think a lot of people instantly thought about how they're doing their version on SmackDown. But here's the thing, though. I don't see Baron Corbin getting back up into, like, the championship picture. I really don't see him there. I kind of just see him staying afloat in the United States Championship picture. Cool, whatever, right? But Big Bill, though, Big Cass, my apologies. But Big Cass, if they get this right with him, he could eventually be another name in the championship realm of things, and suddenly we could be talking about a much higher ceiling for Big Cass.
WWE loves its 7-footers, and you can't teach that.
I was going to say it. Can I say it?
Go ahead.
And if you want a 7-footer.
There it is.
Yeah. You know what to do.
There it is.
Thank you, Jacob.
I don't even know if that's enjoyable, Denise, but continue.
Sancho. Come on. All right, Jacob Tatum here says, what are your top 5 factions of all time, DWL? This one's, I think, would take a lot more time to, like, really get into, but I feel like if you talk about, like, the greatest factions of all time, of course, instantly you got to mention the NWO. That's got to be up there with, like, number 1. But additional ones that I've always enjoyed, I would probably have to say, as a kid, I always thought DX was really cool, so I got to name them as well. I was a fan of Evolution. Evolution is a mystery. You got to add them in there. I was like kind of not as crazy about Nexus as a lot of people were. Were you as big of a Nexus fan as other people were? I really wasn't.
I was more when Cena buried them.
Oh, damn. Do you got any top favorite factions, though?
I got to give shout outs to Bullet Club. Always like Bullet Club.
Of course, yeah.
Always like the Elite. That's always fun.
Yes.
And I really liked during the pandemic the Inner Circle. I don't think they're all timers, but the Inner Circle was just really fun during the pandemic because they were just so silly and goofy.
My brain wasn't even thinking AEW right now. I was thinking more on, like, this side of things. I separate my brain on certain days. I compartmentalize.
Well, with WWE, you can't forget, like, Ministry of Darkness. They were crazy. Right to Censor.
I used to hate their theme song so bad.
I know, but they
so
worked.
Bad.
They worked.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah.
We got C. Delgado who says, let me job for you. Yeah. That she has to lean into it. But again, this is not her fault.
The street.
Another invite? 5K fun run.
Say hi.
Eventually did get to the match, and Brom won.
Now, but we are coming off of. I wouldn't say it was exactly a hot crowd in Iowa tonight, but it had that feel of a show where there was a lot going on, right? It was kind of giving off that vibe to me. But we are coming off of a Summerslam weekend that I would say, on the whole, when you put the two shows together, was a good show It was still a mixed bag of good and bad this past weekend. Raw tonight, though, this show felt more like a reset in many ways. We had seeds planted for a lot of new directions. We had even a new face on the show. We knew he was coming back tonight, but we had a new face on the show. We had a little cliffhanger ending at the end there that I'm sure is going to get a lot of people talking, involving Roman Reigns. But it really did. It felt like the word I would use, and I used this on X here before I went live. I posted on X. I said this show felt inspired. The way that Raw on most weeks, and really SmackDown too, generally doesn't. And I don't know exactly what it was. I don't know if something, kind of a bee got in their bonnet here where it was like, oh, there's a lot of people complaining about all of these different things. Maybe we should try to, make use of the talent we have and not kind of waste a lot of that talent. Maybe we should try something different than what we've been doing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Triple H was locked in a broom closet and there was somebody else. Hey, Rey Mysterio was there. Maybe The Undertaker was there. Maybe The Undertaker was sitting in Gorilla backstage and he was running things. I don't know. But what I do know is that it had a different feel that I would like to see more often. I don't know why this show can't be more like this on most weeks. There's no reason that this show can't be more in line with what we saw tonight. And with any luck, this is a sign that maybe it will be. Because I thought this is easily one of the best Raws of the entire year. That's what we got tonight. Roman Reigns was on the show. He is still the World Heavyweight Champion after his match with Seth Rollins last night. They headlined night 2. 33 minutes in the main event last night. Roman Reigns is still the champion. I don't know that anybody honestly expected it to go any other way. But then you start looking ahead and it's like, okay, he's going to beat Seth Rollins, and then what's next? What's next for Roman Reigns? How long do we have Roman even around for? Who does he defend against next? And we got our answer, or at least we got a hint. LA Knight, who's been talking shit nonstop about Roman. Not just for the past few months, but really for the past few years, it feels like. He comes out, and he gets to cut this promo on Roman. He cuts him down on the mic and plants the seeds for the inevitable rematch. Obviously, these two had a championship match a few years ago, and it was, thanks for coming, LA Knight. He got his one shot, and that was the end of it. And he got screwed over by the bloodline like Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens and everybody else did over the years. But now LA Knight is saying, you know what? He beat Jey Uso at SummerSlam. Why not just go straight for the king? You can come out every week and you can piss, bitch, and moan about Roman all you want to, but there he is. It only makes sense that he would go right after Roman directly, and Roman was like, you know what? You got to earn your way in. So they kind of gave you a hint as to what we're looking at between now and Money in the Bank, where they're going to be building up to a match between Roman Reigns and LA Knight. All the LA Knight fans who wanted to see LA Knight in the world title mix, you're getting your wish. Even though you and I know better than to expect anything other than Roman Reigns retaining his championship. We all know how this story ends. But even still, this feels like this is where you want him to be. This is where you want him to be. He needs to be in the mix. He needs to be going back and forth with Roman Reigns. Right? This is what a lot of people have been waiting for. But then at the end of the show, we had a street fight. It was Jacob Fatu and Royce Keys, SmackDown's Royce Keys. They were in the main event on this show. And they had a street fight, and they beat the hell out of each other. And this was all about Roman Reigns earlier in the show telling him, what is this stuff about this guy being family to you? You guys going way back. He's not family. He's not blood. He's not one of us. Take care of this. That was the mission. And that's what Jacob Fatu did in the main event. And Roman Reigns came out and he acknowledged Jacob and Jacob acknowledged him. And I thought the show was over. And then all of a sudden, we cut to the back and Roman Reigns is in the gorilla position. And he looks over and the camera pan, and I'm like, okay, who's going to be standing there, right? Clearly they were building to some big reveal here. Somebody was going to be standing off to the side. And they pan to the side and it's Rey Mysterio. I mean, that's more like a Be the Booker match that we would do at the end of one of these streams. We land on Roman, we land on Rey. Like, what the hell is Rey Mysterio doing there? And he's standing there, and the funniest part about all this, he goes, I don't know if you're aware that I'm the new general manager of AAA. And Roman's response was, well, I know now, because I don't pay attention to any of the other shit that goes on around here. Now I know. Okay, what do you want? And Rey said, well, I have something interesting to talk to you about. And off they went. And my first thought, and probably yours as well, my first thought is, they're going to have Roman Reigns on the Worlds Collide card. I know Triple Mania is coming up. They don't need Roman for Triple Mania. First of all, Roman's not working Mexico City on night 2. Night 1, I know they just moved into a bigger building. I mean, I suppose if they wanted to, sell more tickets, sure, you could advertise Roman Reigns for the show, but I don't get the sense they really need him for that. I was thinking more about the Worlds Collide show, which is running head-to-head with AEW All Out in Chicago, not very far from where All Out is being held, on, September 26th, I believe. So I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing here. I said a few weeks ago when this was first announced, I said, you watch, CM Punk is going to end up on that card because they're in Chicago, right? And they have tickets to sell, and what better way to kind of stick the knife in? And we'll book CM Punk opposite All Out on the Worlds Collide show. I hadn't even thought about Roman Reigns. But then I was thinking about it some more, and I said, Roman doesn't have to wrestle on that show. Roman himself doesn't even have to be on that show. If they're looking to add like a big attraction to the Worlds Collide card, he could send the Usos there. And you can do, for the first time ever, you can do the Usos against the Lucha Bros, right? You can have Rey Fénix and Penta against Jimmy and Jay on that show. So I wouldn't necessarily just assume that Roman Reigns is going to be working the AAA show. It's possible he will. Or it's just as possible that Rey wanted to have a conversation with him about his bloodline. And maybe we can work something out. Maybe we can get some of them to come on over for the big event. But I like that. I like that little cliffhanger there at the end. What are these two guys going off and talking about? See, this is the sort of thing that they should be doing more of. Right? Because you want people to wonder, and you want people to be like, man, I got to tune in next week to find out, like, where is this going to go? This is basic TV stuff, and something they used to be better at doing. I feel like they don't do it enough anymore. Most weeks when Raw goes off the air, it's like a mercy killing, and I'm happy it's over. Thank God. I don't leave the show at the end going, holy shit, I can't wait to tune in next week and see what's going to happen. So it's a small thing, but I like that they tossed that in there at the very end. I mentioned the street fight, though. That was in the main event. Royce Keys, the way they shot that angle there at the end with him bleeding from the mouth and everything, seemed like they were writing him off for a little bit. It's kind of like what they did with Otis last week. I'm not expecting to see Otis for a few weeks yet. So Roman was on the show in multiple segments. Obafemi was also on the show, although only in technically two a backstage segment and then a segment out in the ring, coming off the biggest win of his career, right? Beating Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. And I forgot the word that Michael Cole used to describe it when they were, pitching to the, I don't remember if it was highlights of the match or that Brock video package that they showed us, but he was using words like, this massively entertaining, or it did not disappoint. I think that's what he said. It did not disappoint. Speak for yourself, Michael. Speak for yourself. To hear him tell it, it was the greatest Hell in a Cell match of all time. But Obafemi was on the show. He came out, and in his promo, it was very complimentary towards Brock Lesnar. He didn't really say a whole lot. Right? I mean, he said some stuff about basically, this is the new generation now. It's our time, and the old guard is going to be put down and all that. But he didn't give any indication, any hint about what his next conquest is going to be, right? About who he's targeting. He didn't mention Roman Reigns. He didn't mention the World Heavyweight Championship. We did, I guess, get some clarity finally from Corey Graves. They're talking as if he still has a title shot. So evidently now, he does still have the title opportunity that he could basically, cash in, quote unquote, whenever he's ready. And it could be against CM Punk, or it could be against Roman Reigns. He didn't say anything about that on this show. But as he was leaving, it was who he ran into that gave us the biggest sign yet of what's next for Obafemi. And that is Braun Breaker. Now, we already had one tease a few years ago, a couple years ago now, of a potential feud that didn't go anywhere between Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. And I'm sure many of you remember that episode of Raw where Fatu had only been in the company for a few months. And he had a very brief face-to-face encounter outside the ring with Braun Breaker. And you heard the reaction. It's still burned in my brain. You heard the reaction from the crowd. That was a match that people were excited for. And again, Fatu had not been around for very long. And then it went absolutely nowhere. So I've been conditioned to not necessarily get my hopes up that even if they tease something, they're necessarily going to give it to us. But it was pretty, in your face. Like, hey, this is the direction we're going in, and we're going in that direction a lot sooner than you may think. We got a face-to-face between Oba and Braun. Braun would not take his eyes off this man. And then it even led to a segment in the back, which I'll get into later, where Braun confronted Paul Heyman about Oba. And told him in no uncertain terms, I'm going after Obafemi. This was not like, oh, they're planting the seed for WrestleMania in 9 months, or they're planting the seed for somewhere down the road, a big match between these two. No, like, my takeaway from what we saw tonight is that they're planting the seeds for a match like in the next month or two. Like, maybe Oba's next big challenger here is going to be Braun Breaker. Like, this is on the horizon very soon, which I love. I fucking love it. I hope that's the case. I really do. I hope that's the case. Don't tease us and then not give it to us again. Right? That's a match that people can get excited about. That's a match between two people that this company should be able to rely on as two of the top faces that will help carry them into the future. Braun Breaker is not there yet. Braun Breaker has been cooled off. Right? Oba has leapfrogged him. But Braun Breaker is still somebody that they want him to get to where Oba is right now. I think the two of them can help each other. So that was very exciting and very interesting to see. We also had the returns of two big names in the women's division on Raw. One of which is Becky Lynch. They were in Iowa tonight. No Seth Rollins on the show, but Becky was there. And I speculated about this during the SummerSlam review over the weekend. I said, well, if she's going to come back, I'm thinking Monday night would be a good time for Stephanie Vaquer to show her face. And sure enough, finally, for the first time since right after WrestleMania, Stephanie Vaquer is back. Whatever the reasons were, if you watched this season of Unreal, I don't remember which episode it was of the 5, but in one of the episodes, it was right after she lost to Liv at WrestleMania. She's getting very emotional. She was in the back and she was talking about how she's been going nonstop in the ring on the road for like 10 years and she's hurting physically, like she's beat up. So there were all sorts of rumors about why hasn't she been back? Was it an injury? Was it visa issues? Maybe it was both. I mean, who the hell knows, right? I'm inclined to believe that she just needed some time off to just rest her body, heal up, and come back when the time was right. Well, the time is right because we cannot go through another period like we just did with Liv Morgan, where Liv Morgan is on the show every week. And what have I been saying now for months? Literally, on these reviews, I have talked about how Liv Morgan feels more like a manager. She's more like a valet for the Judgment Day. That's the exact language that Becky Lynch used in her promo tonight, because everybody can see it. And they know it. They know how ridiculous it is that they put the Women's Championship on this woman at WrestleMania, and she went well over 100 days from Mania to SummerSlam without a single title defense. It is ridiculous. Because Stephanie was banged up, she wasn't around, they didn't have a plan B. Well, now they have a plan A and a plan B for her coming out of SummerSlam in the form of Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vaquer. And all of a sudden, in one night, the women's division has more depth at the top when it comes to the Women's World Championship than they have had in months. Now things are starting to get interesting here. Now Liv Morgan has multiple challengers that she could work with, and you still in the back have the story, if they ever want to finally pursue it, of her and Raquel, her and Roxanne. Right now they're on solid footing. Everything's great in the Judgment Day, but it won't be that way forever. So you still have that, those possible stories lingering in the background. Chad Gable, he is the new Intercontinental Champion coming out of WrestleMania. Long overdue. Very happy to see him get in-ring promo time here on this show. You would think, of course they'll give him promo time. It's not a guarantee. So I was happy that they gave him the mic. It's the only way he's going to continue to try to get over on these shows. First of all, get him on the show every week. Put a mic in his hand, let him address the people. And he went out there, he cut a great little babyface promo, and Penta came out and it led to a tag match. But Gable being in this position is something that should have happened a long time ago. I'm glad it's happening now. Long may he reign, right? It's just a matter of finding the right stories and the right people for him to work with. I still feel like before this year is over, very good chance Ethan Page will end up with that championship. I'm already looking ahead to people that he could potentially work with and take the title from him, but I'm just trying to think of okay, who can he work with? And what stories are there for him over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months? And hopefully they're doing the same thing. Hopefully he's important enough to them on that show that they're mapping it out in the same way. So I'm very happy to see him in that spot. And we have the return. After 8 years away from WWE, boy, if you didn't feel fucking old, watching all of these legends drop off and retire and leave. Colin Cassidy, it's been almost a decade since he was in WWE, and now he's back, and he is fucking gigantic. We've seen him in recent years in AEW, although not very often. And I don't know, he was always a big guy, but he didn't look big the way he looks on this show. The way they're shooting him, when he came out, they were shooting him intentionally low. They had the camera probably sitting on the mat, we're looking up at him, and he looks like fucking Andre the Giant out there. And he's in the best shape of his life. He's motivated. He's been through a lot. He's had substance abuse issues in the past. It really derailed him. He was on a bad path, and he got his life in order. He's got a great story in that regard, and this is his second chance. And so now he is on the Monday Night Raw roster, I assume. They didn't actually say that he was on Raw per se, but they've been running these vignettes on Raw. He debuted on Raw. He may not have signed the contract, but I have to assume he's going to be a part of Raw. But then again, does it really matter anymore? We have Royce Keys all over the show. He feels like a Raw guy. Was he moved to Raw and nobody said anything? Is he officially now on the Raw roster? I don't even know. Maybe he was quietly moved to Raw. Nobody seems to say anything about this stuff, but he's at the fucking main event tonight. Okay, sure. Why not? So Big Cass can go wherever he wants. Everybody else can. Why should he be any different? But again, I just laid out a whole bunch of different things to you, right? Roman and different things going on with Roman, LA Knight and Roman, Oba and Braun. Becky is back. Stephanie is back. Cass is back. Gable's the champion, right? All these different things. This is good. That's why I said at the beginning, it almost feels like they hit the reset button in some ways, which is something that was desperately needed for this show. And the wrestling that we got was actually pretty good, too. We got some good wrestling on this show. So we're going to talk about the entire thing here. It's good to have some excitement with this show. It's been devoid of it for a while now. Oh, I didn't even mention no Danhausen on this show. There was no Danhausen. There was no Human Monies. Hopefully that story is dead. Finally. This is your Monday Night Raw review. It is August 3rd, 2026. I am the Solemn Monster. August 3rd. Now that I say that date out loud. 29 years ago, on this very night, maybe the greatest finish to a SummerSlam main event of all time. Bret Hart and The Undertaker for the WWE. Roman, you're still a fraud. And then he mocked the Shield. He did the Shield intro. Said,
Hi, I'm Mother Nature. Have you ever wondered how we...
With hundreds of job skills you can use right away. Whatever you want to do and
put their best foot forward, it's right now. Because I do think we're entering a cold period for WWE. And
Braun Breaker. I didn't really find anything that really moved me. Rollins and Reigns had a great match. Not taking anything away from those guys. They had the match of the weekend. Better than Punk and Cody. Hopefully Punk and Cody can come out swinging in match number 2 whenever and wherever that happens. Rollins and Reigns told a great story. They put a finality on the Shield for 14 years. Outside of Kevin Owens returning and outside of maybe Chelsea Green winning the interim women's championship, Nick Aldis returning, there were moments, but nothing really moved me. Nothing really moved me emotionally, which is why I kind of soured on SummerSlam. It wasn't the greatest SummerSlam of all time. It wasn't even in the top 5, top 10 SummerSlam of all time. I don't know how it could be in the current PLE market. I don't know how any PLE in the modern day WWE could really stand the test of time with 48 minutes of actual professional wrestling in the first 2.5 hours of a night 2 to be bombarded with advertisements. They needed to hit a home run tonight. They certainly did that. SummerSlam now is in the rearview mirror. I want to start things off with Roman Reigns and LA Knight. There was no Seth Rollins on the show tonight. Seth Rollins was not there. Maybe he was there, but he wasn't used on TV. I don't know where his creative is going following SummerSlam. But Roman Reigns was the first guy we saw on the show, being that he was the last thing we saw on night 2, and everybody was wondering, where is Roman Reigns going next? Laughably, how do we keep Obafemi and Roman Reigns apart from each other when we all know that they are, not on TV, but in the minds of wrestling fans, know that they are on a collision course, headed right towards each other? It's going to be very comical to see WWE book Oba and Roman Reigns away from each other. It's going to be very comical to see them do that. They could be going in the right direction for now with Oba. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Roman Reigns is still the world's heavyweight champion. What does he do next on a roster that doesn't really have a lot of top-tier guys for him to work with? They seemingly are all on Friday Night SmackDown. Cue LA Knight. I said last night, LA Knight and the Bloodline story needs to go through LA Knight. He's been the one guy, he's been the one individual that has really been outspoken most about the Bloodline. Before anything came out of Roman's mouth, anything of substance, LA Knight interrupted him. We'll get into what they actually said to each other because I thought it was a very entertaining and I thought it was a very enthusiastic segment between those two. And I'm glad WWE gave LA Knight the time in the ring with somebody like Roman Reigns. And we now see what the direction is next for the World's Heavyweight Championship. LA Knight said one thing tonight that's kind of really soured on me. LA Knight said one thing tonight that kind of made the upcoming match a little less exciting. Because if we go and look at what Roman Reigns has done, he's beaten CM Punk, he's beaten Jacob Fatu, and now he's beaten Seth Rollins without any bloodline assistance. Roman Reigns is on this crusade with the World Heavyweight Championship to do the opposite of what he did when he was the WWE Champion for 1,300 plus days. Every single time there was a bloodline interference, every single time there was a bloodline assist, and Roman Reigns would win via the help of his family. Roman Reigns is winning matches on his own, which he's very capable of doing, which I also appreciate because it only makes his title run and title reign stronger. And he's a babyface. The Bloodline is presented as a babyface faction, even though they're kind of in between. Especially with the actions tonight of Jacob Fatu. Can't have Roman Reigns doing the same thing he did during his WWE Championship run here in his World Heavyweight Championship run because it's not very becoming of a babyface. LA Knight praised Roman Reigns for winning his match against Seth Rollins on his own. LA Knight praised Roman Reigns for winning his match on his own. Clearly, we know what the direction is. They started the show off with LA Knight and Roman Reigns, whether there's a WrestlePalooza or it happens at Money in the Bank. This is the next program for Roman Reigns. But what LA Knight said basically gave away what the outcome is going to be. And LA Knight is not beating Roman Reigns straight up, one-on-one. And even the LA Knight enthusiasts out there, the LA Knight superfans, listen, if there's somebody out there that sympathizes with you and what you've had to watch your guy go through, I understand. Because I'm in a position as a fan where I want to see something new. I'm in a position as a fan where I want to see those that have busted their ass get what they truly deserve. The fact that LA Knight hasn't been a World Heavyweight Champion up until this point right now in WWE is it's just ridiculous. It's creative malpractice. Triple H wants to go out there on the post-show media scrum and claim those people that want to be the Roman Reigns and the Cody Rhodes and the CM Punks of the WWE need to get over first and be like those guys. Get to a level like those guys are at. You need to get yourself over. I don't know how you expect this roster to get over when the creative has been so garbage most of the year. And I don't know how you expect these guys to get over when they're given 3 or 4 minutes of TV per week. What do you expect them to do with so little time? Some of these guys don't even make TV. How do you expect the talent to get over when they're not featured on TV? And then he blames the fans for asking where so-and-so is and where this one is and where that one is. Why aren't they pushing this one? Why aren't they pushing that one? The one guy that's been on TV, the one guy that has been consistent, the one guy that's been over, the one guy that has had the audience stick with him through the worst of times and the best of times is the guy that stood in the ring tonight with Roman Reigns. I'm not an idiot. We all know how this is going to end. Roman Reigns will easily dispatch of LA Knight, and I'm assuming come Survivor Series, we are going to get a War Games match consisting of those baby faces that have been battling the Bloodline against the Bloodline at Survivor Series in Houston for this year's War Games. But what if? But what if? Everybody's crying about the same faces at the top, the same guys at the top, the same feuds at the top. Everything feels boring. Cody Rhodes on Friday Night SmackDown. Love CM Punk, but CM Punk falls into that category. Roman Reigns. Rhea Ripley. Becky Lynch. WWE's going to go with their tried and true. WWE's going to go with their stars because they have this inability to create new stars that the fans want to see. And if it's not inability, we have stars that fans want to see, new stars, rookies, up-and-comers, the future of the company. And WWE takes their sweet time developing those guys, only to push them so little where we are now asking, like in the case of Braun Breaker, how did they drop the ball on Braun Breaker from the beginning of this year to where we see him now? It's either they dropped the ball completely, they have the inability to create no new stars, or they take their sweet-ass time because they want to push them at their leisure. And before you know it, it's too little too late, and people just say, you know what, I'm moving on. WWE needs a shakeup. WWE needs something new. WWE needs some unpredictability. Pro wrestling in general needs some unpredictability because WWE and AEW, they are both guilty of what I'm about to say. They are boring. The worst kind of pro wrestling is a boring pro wrestling. The worst kind of pro wrestling is a predictable pro wrestling. The worst kind of pro wrestling to me is watching a show and I already know who's going to win and who's going to lose. And we've seen a lot of that in pro wrestling from both companies in 2026. I know Roman Reigns just won the World Heavyweight Championship back in April from CM Punk, and I know he signed the new fancy multi-year extension for a lot of money. What comes with a lot of money? More dates, a championship, and a guy that's going to put the company on his back once again because the company is afraid to put the ball in someone else's hands. I'm not saying take the ball from Roman Reigns' hands and put it in somebody else permanently. I'm saying let's make a play, have the quarterback fumble, and have somebody else that you don't expect take that football and run it into the end zone, and score a touchdown. I'm saying let's crown LA Knight the new World Heavyweight Champion. I'm saying let's take a chance on LA Knight. I'm saying let's do something unpredictable. I'm saying surprise people and take a chance on someone that you should have taken a chance on over the last 4 years, and you haven't. Nobody's asking for an LA Knight 4, 5, 6 month title reign. Nobody's asking for LA Knight to take the belt into WrestleMania. We all know that would never happen. All I'm asking is for this fucking guy to get a big win, to cap off a very good WWE run, where the fans have gotten behind him and have remained behind him and consistent since the day he got here. All I'm saying is push the shit of the bloodline in a little bit and rattle their fucking cage just a little bit. I don't think there's anybody more capable of that on Monday night than LA Knight. Everything I'm saying is not going to happen, and I very well know it's not going to happen. WWE doesn't have the balls to pull the trigger on having LA Knight beat Roman Reigns. LA Knight, just for the simple fact I'm saying this, Roman Reigns would never put over LA Knight. Never. Roman Reigns is only going to put somebody over that he feels is in the same league as him. LA Knight ain't in the same league as Roman Reigns. But what if? But what if WWE actually did pull the trigger on that? What harm would that do? Everybody complained that Sami Zayn won the WWE Championship, and I had people claiming to me that I stopped watching the company. No, you didn't. You didn't stop watching WWE because WWE all of a sudden made Sami Zayn the WWE Champion for 9 days. You didn't stop watching the company. You weren't watching the company to begin with. You weren't watching the show to begin with. Sami Zayn had nothing to do with that. The fact that the product sucks, mostly, for most of the year, is the reason why you're not watching. It had nothing to do with Sami Zayn. But if a storyline calls for it, if a storyline is there, if a guy is there, and all signs point to yes, we saw WWE take a chance on Sami Zayn. Why on earth wouldn't they take that same chance with somebody who's been consistent for them more consistent than Sammy in LA Knight, I feel like that's the right move. And again, I'm not asking for a 6-month title reign. I'm asking for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month tops. Literally one pay-per-view cycle. Literally. That's all we're asking for. It would be a great moment. Triple H loves his moments. What a moment that would be. How much worse could it be with LA Knight as the WWE champion as compared to Sami Zayn beating Cody Rhodes? Sami pinned Cody. The untouchable Cody Rhodes, QB1. Cody's not in the same league as Roman Reigns either, in WWE's eyes anyway. In the fans' eyes as well. But if we have the capability to pull the trigger on something like that, why not do it with somebody like LA Knight? I'm just saying. Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker has been one of those guys on the roster who's made an immediate impact. He's got every tool necessary to be a top guy. He's adequate in the ring. He's explosive. He's unpredictable. He's a very good promo. He's got the look. He's got the size. He's one of those guys who's a 5-tool blue chip prospect. He's basically the Andrew Jones of WWE. This guy started the year off, and his name was in everybody's mouth. Let's crown him the new World Heavyweight Champion. We said that right here as well. We said this across all of our platforms. Braun Breaker should be the new World Heavyweight Champion. He started the year off in a feud with CM Punk. He started the feud off possibly winning the World Heavyweight Championship. There were rumors about him potentially wrestling Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. There were rumors about him winning the Royal Rumble, which all were documented in WWE Unreal. Whether you want to sit there and believe Unreal, reality television, that's on you. Seth Rollins is hurt. He got hurt in October last year. Braun Breaker felt like a lost cause because the whole Vision angle was supposed to play out at WrestleMania. He was lost. Rollins is back in time for WrestleMania. The natural thing for Rollins to do is wrestle Braun Breaker, being that Braun Breaker, according to their story, took the World Heavyweight Championship away from Seth Rollins, and Rollins never lost the belt. Kicked him out of the Vision, injured his arm. That's the story that they ran with. So, with Rollins back, Braun Breaker needed to finish his story with Seth Rollins. As soon as that was over, WWE had no direction for Braun Breaker. The Vision had no more Seth Rollins. The Vision had no more Paul Heyman. They did everything in their power to write Paul Heyman out of the Vision. Maxine Dupree is now the de facto leader of the division, or the Vision. And now we see tonight WWE having Braun Breaker go back to what brought him to the dance, go back to what made him that guy in the fans' eye. And all it did was get everybody excited all over again about the potential of what the future of WWE could be. All it took was 30 seconds. Braun Breaker stared down Oba Femi after Oba called everybody out. The old guard is no more. He is the leader of the new generation. And anybody that has a problem with what he is saying in this ring tonight after conquering Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam inside Hell in a Cell, come meet me face to face and do something about it. Braun Breaker comes out with Austin Theory and The Vision, and they cross paths and lock eyes, and they don't let go of each other until Austin Theory had to pull Braun Breaker away. 30 seconds is all it took. 30 seconds is all it took for the fans to get excited about the future of this company. WWE Unreal is a vehicle that Triple H is using to peddle his creative the way we see it now on WWE television. I am convinced that WWE Unreal is purposely putting out shit to talk about in the community. Forgetting fans to talk about in the community, because they purposely put all that Braun Breaker stuff in WWE Unreal. He was supposed to win the Royal Rumble. He was supposed to wrestle Roman Reigns. You don't want to push him too fast. You don't want to burn him out and push him too fast. Burn him out in the eyes of the fans, or whatever verbiage Triple H wanted to use. And then WWE does what they do. People look back at that. Literally, the season came out 3 weeks ago. We're in the middle of the summer, going into SummerSlam, coming out of SummerSlam. This is a slow period for WWE. It almost makes you think that WWE is purposely putting out how awful they are. We know they're awful. But now you get to see it firsthand behind the scenes. They want you to see how awful they are. They want you to talk about the mistakes they make. They want you to talk about how they dropped the ball on Braun Breaker, so that Braun Breaker is a talking point in everybody's eyes and in everybody's YouTube clips and on everybody's podcasts. Only for them to then push Braun Breaker like they did tonight and kind of hit the reset button. Oh, everybody thought that we meant what we meant on Unreal. Look at these marks who are believing everything that happens on a scripted reality television show. They genuinely thought that we feel he's not ready. They genuinely thought that what I said, pushing him too fast and burning him out, is exactly how I feel. WWE is looking at Braun Breaker and Obafemi tonight, and it's the one thing that is genuinely going to get fans excited about this product. We are more hungry now for the new generation than ever before. We need it. We want it. The old guard still has a place in the current WWE, but not every single week. At the forefront, in the spotlight, holding the championships, maintaining a grip on the main event, in every PLE main event. The comments of Damian Priest on SmackDown a couple weeks ago, with him saying that the same names and the same faces are in the main event and the boys in the locker room are getting incredibly frustrated over that fact. While you audibly heard fans in attendance at SmackDown cheer Damian Priest for speaking up. There's a lot of people that genuinely feel that way. What they did tonight is give you a glimpse into the future. Braun Breaker, Obafemi is not just a match. Obafemi and Braun Breaker is just not the future. Whether it's next year or the year after that, this is the next major WrestleMania main event for WWE. And if WWE was smart, they would fast-track Braun Breaker just like they have fast-tracked Obafemi. I don't know why they couldn't handle doing both at the same time. They strapped the rocket and never looked back on Obafemi, and they suppressed Braun Breaker for whatever reason. WWE would do themselves a lot of benefit if they strapped that rocket now and took it off Oba, who's already in outer space somewhere floating around. He's as high could be. Take that rocket pack, strap it to Braun Breaker, and have him meet Oba somewhere in outer space, and they can float around together. This is what fans want to see. This is what WWE needs to build around. This is what WWE needs to promote as the future of WrestleMania. 30 seconds is all it took. I don't know where they go from here. Braun Breaker's interaction with Paul Heyman tonight was very interesting, as he asked Paul Heyman if he knew where Obafemi was. Braun Breaker sarcastically replied, "Well, I thought he was your new best friend." The one thing that WWE should not do is use Braun Breaker as a stopgap for Obafemi to just blow right through, because Obafemi's on a quick path to Roman Reigns. I'll talk about that a little bit more as we get on into the review, because it looks like Oba might have a direction, and that direction might be the Vision. But that's what WWE needs to focus on. Braun Breaker, Obafemi, that is your next major main event for WrestleMania for years to come. And I'm personally very excited about that. We saw the return of Becky Lynch and Stephanie Vicaire. Finally on Stephanie's behalf, she's been out for a very long time, man. WrestleMania, she wrestled Liv Morgan, and she's been out ever since. Tonight, the women's division got both Stephanie and Becky Lynch back. And man, is that a shot in the arm that this division sorely needed. And we had the return of Big Cass tonight. Big Cass returns to WWE after 8 years away, wasting away in AEW. Will it be any different in WWE this time around? It's certainly a little different now, as they re-debuted him as a heel, attacking Javon Evans. No sign of Enzo Amore, no Cass and Enzo, no tag team. We just got 7 foot tall, you can't teach that, from Queens, New York, as a heel. Quite the choice. But I'm glad he's back. We'll talk about that and everything else tonight on this Monday Night Raw post show. This is your Monday Night Raw review for August 3rd, 2026. I want to thank you guys for the tremendous support, man. I am not body tired. I am mentally tired, bro. I am kind of pro wrestled out. After these long weekends, man, I am pro wrestled out. I put a lot into what I do during these weekends like we just had with Summerslam. .com. Hey, you ever won a tournament? You ever won a battle royal? You ever won a big match? Please let me know. And this goes out to everyone in the back. You don't get to be #1 contender by bitching and moaning. We ain't gonna sit here and complain anymore. You might have wasted my cousin's time, but you're not gonna waste my time. Get in the back of the line. So Roman tries to leave, and LA Knight says, whoa. Hold on. I got one more thing. Before I get there, first of all, your aura is so much cooler when you're not standing in front of me. You stand here and you make your little scrunchy faces and you talk about, I haven't earned it. Huh? I've earned it time and time again, and it took you and 38 people to beat me. What a coincidence that you and Seth were in a group called The Shield, because all you've done is use the numbers game, sneak attacks, to shield you against guys like me. Because, Yankee, Oscar, uniform, yeah, uniform, Charlie, Kilo, you suck. As he's making fun of the Shield entrance. You're a fraud, and you're the biggest vomit in the business. You're on another level, because you hold that championship. But don't get lost in the sauce, brother. You're not on my level, pal. I'm lightning in a bottle. I'm everything you wish you could be, but you couldn't. So I'll tell you what, when you figure out where to buy a pair, if you can't grow one, you come back and let me know, and I'll smack you back to factory settings, because I know you know and the whole universe knows the uncrowned champion of this world, with everybody saying L.A. Knight. Yeah. Everyone's going to look at the Roman Reigns Walmart watch. Come here and look at my $600,000 watch. Skeleton tourbillon. Everyone's going to look at that comment and say Roman owned LA Knight. I think for a first battle here in this renewed feud, I think LA Knight won on the microphone. I think we're looking at LA Knight 1, Roman Reigns 0. I thought LA Knight owned Roman Reigns. What did Roman Reigns do? Bury his family? What did Roman Reigns do? Get to the back of the line? I refuse to fight anybody. I'm a fighting champion. I want to call myself the world heavyweight champion, yet I don't want to wrestle guys that throw themselves in front of me. I only want to fight people that have earned a championship match. Motherfucker, there is nobody else on the roster for you to use that statement against. You're looking at the one guy that has genuinely earned his spot in the company. You're looking at the guy that's genuinely earned and deserved the spot for the last 4 years. You're looking at the guy that embodies everything that Triple H made a statement about at the SummerSlam post-show media scrum when he called everybody out, claiming that you're not going to get to the level of Roman Reigns and CM Punk and Cody Rhodes if you can't get yourself over. LA Knight's already over. He's been over. It's time. Money in the Bank, taking place in October. WWE's got a couple of shows in September. We may not be getting a PLE in September. I thought we'd be getting WrestlePalooza again this year. We still may very well get a WrestlePalooza announcement. I don't know. It's only the beginning of August. But Money in the Bank is the second week of October. I don't know what WWE's got planned when this match takes place, how long we're going to take to get there. I feel like now and then into Money in the Bank is way too much time. Like, what else can you possibly do and say after tonight? You mean to tell me we're going to go through all of August and all of September? We're going to go 2 months of building LA Knight and Roman Reigns on television to then do the match at Money in the Bank? I just feel like WrestlePalooza is going to be that September stopgap. Especially with Mark Shapiro saying they want to make it into a yearly thing. They want to make it as big as all their other marquee shows. But I think for a first at-bat here, I thought this was a great segment. I thought LA Knight took some big swings here, and I thought he hit a home run against Roman Reigns. I'm taking LA Knight over Roman tonight on Raw. I don't know how many more Roman Reigns appearances we will be graced with between now and Money in the Bank. I know he'll be on TV, but he won't be on TV every week. In the meantime, we'll probably just get more bloodline slop with LA Knight and Jacob Fatu and the Usos. Not very exciting. Ethan Page. First match of the night, Ethan Page versus Javon Evans. This has Intercontinental Championship implications. Do you guys know that this match went longer than most of the matches at SummerSlam? This company's genuinely bizarre, man. They are genuinely weird. Javon Evans and Ethan Page got 13 minutes on Monday Night Raw, and we couldn't even be bothered to give Penta and Chad Gable 11 minutes at SummerSlam last night. Javon Evans is going to quickly ascend the Intercontinental Championship ranks. Ethan Page will as well. I think if there's a heel that will be in the IC title picture, it will be Ethan Page. I think that's the next direction for him, which is why they took it off of Penta to put it on Gable and Gable will defend against Ethan Page, which I could see being a very good match when that time comes. I wouldn't take the belt off Gable immediately, but I could see Ethan Page being the next in line to win the Intercontinental title. This was good. This was basically taking a page out of what they did in NXT, which was very good, and they worked very well together in NXT. And this was just an extension of that here on Monday night, and this was a very good match. Very good match. So, we go into a commercial break. Clearly, it's the WWE thing to do. We start the match off for a little bit, go into a 3-minute ad break. Come back. Ethan is taunting Evans. He's trash-talking Evans while kicking him in the face. Evans comes back, makes a babyface comeback, went on the attack, takes Ethan into the corner. Evans tried to springboard off the middle rope. Evans knocked him off balance and then landed a back suplex. He tried to go for an egoplex. Evans countered with a small package out of the egoplex for a 2. Evans throws a big charging punch to Ethan out to the floor. Evan dove into Ethan into the timekeeper's area. And then Ethan, he starts to come back. He uses the ropes for leverage on a cover. Referee saw it and caught him. He then landed the confidence breaker for a 2 count. So, Ethan throws Javon Evans outside, aisleway side. Referee's counting. He's administering his count on Javon Evans. Ethan Page goes over to the opposite corner and starts to take apart the turnbuckle pad. Referee turns around, he sees Ethan Page taking apart the turnbuckle pad and starts questioning him why he's doing it, what is he doing. So Javon Evans gets back in. Evans leapt over both the referee and Ethan Page to then springboard up to the second rope, up to the third rope, jump backwards, and nail an OG cutter on Ethan Page for the 1, 2, 3. This was very good.
Oh, come on.
Very good. For a Monday Night Raw match, anyway. I'm not going to sit here and tell you this was a top match of 2026 or anything like that. This was good stuff here because I enjoy the work of both guys. Javon Evans is making a name for himself slowly but surely. And at some point, you're going to have to get this kid wearing some championship gold. And that Intercontinental Championship would be perfect on Javon Evans. Perfect. So hopefully that is the plan, and hopefully they are building him towards that. Ethan Page has kind of cooled off a little bit. Javon Evans right now is riding the hotter hand. I don't know where Ethan Page sits right now in the IC title picture. He came in really hot. There was a lot of hype around him. They paired him with Rusev. They didn't really do anything with that pairing. It was just something that happened. There was no reason given. Rusev doesn't look like the type of guy that wants to be friends with anybody, let alone teaming with somebody. So I didn't even think the pairing made any sense to begin with. They didn't even explain why it happened. And I just don't think he's as hot as he was when he first hit Monday Night Raw. So WWE is clearly riding the hotter hand in Javon Evans. And I can't really blame them. He's very good at what he does. Evans celebrated. Michael Cole started yelling, "Turn around! Oh no! Oh no!" Big Cass is standing behind Javon Evans. He gives Evans a big boot. As soon as he turns around, Michael Cole says it's been 8 years since Big Cass has been in a WWE ring. He says Evans just went through a grueling match, and now he's getting attacked by Big Cass. Cass ended up giving him this weird bear hug back and forth. I didn't know what was going on. It honestly took the fans out of the segment. Nobody wants to see a bear hug in 2026. He ended up turning the bear hug into his patented East River Crossing sidewalk slam. I think Big Cass looks fucking great. He looks great. He looks to be in the best shape of his life. If you guys followed his story from when he was last in WWE, the demons that he had to battle, the personal issues he had to battle, he had to go find himself, the alcohol and the drugs and all the other things that came along with that, worked on himself, got himself into the best shape of his life, was a really great comeback story, took a little bit of time away from pro wrestling, went back at it because he loved it, eventually signed with AEW, did the thing in the learning tree with Chris Jericho and Brian Keith. It really didn't go anywhere. They didn't even have a finality to that story. It was just something that they left on the table and never revisited it again. Big Cass worked his ass off to get himself in the best shape of his life, and I don't know how you look at that guy and don't find a way to make money off him. AEW just doesn't have this thing about pushing big guys. Tony Khan has this allergy to pushing big guys. Every big guy that has appeared in AEW television seemingly goes nowhere. How you look at somebody like Big Cass and can't find a role for him on the show, I mean, that just says a lot about AEW creative. I'm glad Big Cass is back. I'm glad Big Cass is getting another shot. He looks fucking great. But when I sit here, I gotta be real with you guys. I gotta shoot straight. This felt flat. This felt flat. He can look the part. He can speak the part. The presentation could be right. For some reason, this felt flat. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the fact that this guy just came out of nowhere after 8 years, and this audience didn't really grow up watching Enzo and Cass. Maybe they're not familiar with Enzo and Cass. Maybe they have no idea who Enzo and Cass are. Who Big Cass is. Sure, we've seen vignettes. We saw coming attractions. We saw the big date 8-3 for weeks. You're going to have to do more than that, though. This felt flat. I feel like him being in the mix for the IC title could be a good thing. We need some more heels in the Intercontinental title picture. We got Chad Gable, we got Penta, we got Javon Evans, all baby faces. We got Ethan Page, we got Rusev, we got Dominic Mysterio, now we got Big Cass. Monday Night Raw's got a solid Intercontinental title division. But bringing him back as a heel is quite the choice. I just don't want this to materialize into something that goes nowhere. You put a lot of effort in bringing this guy in. You put a lot of effort in kind of rebuilding his redemption arc and giving him the story about him finding redemption in WWE after a failed first run there. I don't want him to end up like someone like Rusev, who they just use because he's a big guy and he looks impressive. And they use him and it goes nowhere. That's what I'm afraid of. Obviously, we're going to give this a chance. But obviously, WWE bringing him in and putting him in this spot didn't sit well with a lot of people because a lot of people expecting something else completely different. A lot of people were hoping for some revitalization of the tag team division. I've been crying about that for years. WWE's not going to do that because they just don't care about tag team wrestling. So if they brought Enzo and Cass back as a team, who do they feud with? Where do they go? I just thought that bringing them in as a babyface would be WWE getting exactly what they want. They're going to ore-farm their entrance. They're going to sell a ton of merch, and they're going to get them over big with the crowd, just like they did when Vince killed it and split them up. Vince didn't understand the gimmick. He didn't understand the team. He didn't understand what they brought to the table. I mean, they got some of the biggest reactions in the entire company. So to bring him back in this role, obviously we're going to give it a shot to see where it goes, but it just felt flat because everybody expected something else, and then we were met with, A heel? Another stereotypical heel who looks angry and has a New York accent and is going to destroy all the baby faces. Is that going to make people interested in Big Cass? Speaking of Enzo, there was no mention of Enzo. There was no sign of Enzo. Nothing regarding Enzo whatsoever. I doubt Enzo's even coming in. I don't know. I just felt like this was... Backstage, we go to Roman Reigns. He confronts his family, who he just talked trash about in the opening segment. He wants to keep the respect, but he has a standard. The Usos know this. It doesn't work if they lose. They're a family. A 6-man tag team match. They have the advantage automatically, and they still lose to their little brother? Matter of fact, where is Solo Sikoa? Roman says that Solo should be attached to his hip right now, getting him coffee. Is that what he thinks of his family? He thinks his family is 3 losers for losing at SummerSlam, and he thinks Solo Sikoa is nothing more than a coffee errand boy. Roman is flabbergasted by LA Knight calling him fraud. He then brings up Royce Keys or whatever his stupid name is. Why is it that I'm hearing Royce is Jacob Fatu's family? Roman says that Royce is not his family. He's just one of the boys. Roman tells Jacob to not let these circus freaks confuse him. This is it. There's only one bloodline here. This is all we have, and trust no one. Jimmy chimes in and says, just say the word, Oos. We'll go get LA Knight. No, there's no game plan. There's no playbook. I'm shutting that down. You had your opportunity at SummerSlam. Leave that fool for me. And then he goes on to tell everybody, do not attack, do not touch LA Knight. I will take care of LA Knight. So after Roman walks away, LA Knight is walking in the hallway with his Walmart suitcase. LA Knight's coming through with his Walmart watch and his Walmart bag. He says, I overheard Roman say, leave me alone. Jey Uso gets up. He gets in Knight's face. Knight tells Jey, calm down, because he doesn't want his daddy to come back and put him over his knee. Knight tells the Bloodline he'll see them next week. He tries to intimidate Jey by getting in his face, and he ends up walking away. Well, Roman doesn't really have any respect for his family, huh? 3 losers at SummerSlam. He thinks Solo Sikoa is the Starbucks barista. Go get me my latte, bitch. I don't know, man. Is that the guy you want running the Bloodline? Is that the guy you want to work for? Royce Keys. We go into a commercial, come back, and we see Royce Keys talking about Jacob Fatu, or talking to, rather, Jacob Fatu in the locker room. Jacob Fatu sitting down, getting scolded here by Royce Keys. How many times have we been through this? We fought each other. They fought each other up and down in Oakland, Sacramento, Los Angeles. Royce can forget everything that's gone on recently because we're still brothers. 10 toes down, I'm still rolling with Jacob because you're my family. Jacob says that Royce is not his brother or a member of his family. You're just one of the boys. Enough of the back and forth.
Oh, come on.
Jacob then challenges Royce to a street fight. Jacob then says he's going to dog walk Royce's ass tonight because he's all gas, no brakes with it. Yeah. Liv Morgan. We got a promo in the ring with the worst women's world champion of all time. I wouldn't say she's the worst. The worst? Who would get that honor in your opinion, chat? Jade Cargill? Who's been worse than Jade and Liv? Anybody? Anybody come to mind? She's in the ring. She does her little catchphrase, which is just, I gotta look away, man. I gotta look away. I cringe every time she does the all-time bit. But you guys already knew that I was the greatest of all time. Because this past Saturday at SummerSlam, I defeated one of the best in the world. I defeated the genius of the Sky, Io Sky. Oh, are you guys mad? Well, you guys can stay mad, but I will give Io Sky props. She's been the only woman brave enough in this division to challenge me. And now that I'm done with her, I don't see any challengers. And she's looking over at Raquel. Do you see any challenges? Looks over at Roxanne Perez. Do you see any challenges? No, I don't see any challenges. So you know what that means, guys? That means I'm going to be the longest reigning women's champion of all time. But that's enough about me, because I want to take a moment to talk about another member of the Judgment Day, my best friend, my sister, someone I am so proud to call our new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Raquel Rodriguez, and she holds up the belt in this version of the Intercontinental Championship that Raquel Rodriguez is holding up is covered in barbed wire. Now, maybe I'm a little dumb, maybe I'm slow, but I have to ask a very, very important question. What does barbed wire around the Intercontinental Championship mean for Raquel Rodriguez? What's the symbolism of the barbed wire in correlation to Raquel Rodriguez? Is it a Judgment Day thing? Is it a Raquel Rodriguez thing? Is it where she grew up? Is it part of her background? Is she a fan of GCW? Is she a fan of Sabu? Maybe she's a fan of Joey Janela. I don't know. Maybe she's a fan of Terry Funk. ECW. Or maybe it's just a way for WWE to sell another custom championship on Shop. Hey, look, you can own your very own Raquel Rodriguez custom title wrapped in barbed wire for a cool $9.99. Maybe it'll be a WWE club exclusive. I don't know what it means. She's a sicko? Maybe it means Raquel Rodriguez is a sicko. I don't know. Very odd. How do you also wear an Intercontinental Championship around your shoulder or around your waist if it's wrapped in barbed wire? Maybe it means it's not going anywhere and she has the title locked down. It's kind of odd. So, she then shifts focus, does Liv, to Roxanne Perez, saying that none of this would be the way we have it today without Roxanne Perez, without our Roxanne. And speaking of my little prodigy, in just a couple of minutes, Roxanne Perez is going to embarrass Sol Ruca and prove why the Judgment Day still runs Monday Night Raw. So we get Roxanne Perez and Sol Ruca as the lone women's match on this show. Not bad. They went about 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Not bad. Again, this actually got just as much time as anything else on SummerSlam.
I know, right?
I don't really understand that, but WWE's got this just terrible flow to their PLEs nowadays. I just don't know what it is.
Me neither.
We get less pro wrestling on the PLEs than any other show in any other market, period. Just very odd. I thought these two did okay here. Again, it's tough to not see. It's tough not to call it out. I'm a fan of Sol Ruka. I think Sol Ruka's got a lot of future. I think she's going to be a huge star in this division if she keeps with it, if she continues to get better, if she continues to hone her craft and mold her character and be what the fans think she could be.
Yeah, I probably should end the video. I think I made this long enough. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Now, what you heard with my podcasters, my friends that I know, JD, and I know you heard from other podcasters like Salamater and Denise. You heard them talking. I already talked earlier in the video. Now I'm going to end the video. I will make more. I will do Black Ops 6. And I will do another live stream this Friday for SmackDown. We will talk about what can happen on SmackDown. They fall off from SummerSlam. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.